Hey everyone, Mherex here, bringing you another video. This one is going to be something new. It's going to be the good, the bad, and the ugly from this past week in Champions. So before we get started, I do want to express that everything in here is not fact. It is just my opinion. So to be clear, these are just my opinions and how I feel about this past week in Champions. So we're going to start off with the good because I like starting off on a positive note. And I feel like a couple things were pretty good. The zombie event, while it was pretty grindy, the prize wall kind of had something for everyone, multiple stages. You know, maybe you got yourself some gear, maybe you got yourself some useful shards, maybe you got yourself some useful straps. I feel like that event was quite good. Um, well grindy, and it had something for everyone, right? For a midweek event, I feel like it was pretty solid. I myself came out of it with zombie mankind shards, enough to recruit him, and then the zombie edge strap. I know a lot of people got the edge strap, the Rhea gear, zombie Triple H gear, and even if you had all that, there was the Drew strap that was 75% gem damage. So pretty not too bad. The Drew gear was solid. It was $5 if you wanted that. Not a bad smaller purchase depending on your account. I feel like that event was pretty solid overall, and I will give that one a good. The other thing that was really good, I'm gonna say it's gonna fall into the good, the bad, and the ugly, all three parts, is the Snoop event. The good part of it was how it was laid out, Snoop being recruitable, and how that was implemented, worked, the milestones, things like that. If you did a boss battle, you were able to do two 11s and two 10s in most people's cases. You maxed the solo portion of it. And then if your faction did well, you very much so could get enough shards for Snoop. There was a lot of shards there. So I like the layout of the event. I like the structure. I like what they're trying to do to boss battle. They gave it more levels. The higher levels were harder. Some parts I wasn't crazy about. The Trickster having dodge, for example, on a boss was really frustrating. The silence gem was an interesting mechanic I personally also found frustrating, but not nearly as frustrating as dodge. And I like that they tuned it and adjusted it and gave it harder, much harder levels. And so I want to say the overall contest structure to me was very good, because you could come away with a character for free in Hall of Fame Snoop. So that part was really, I felt like, really quite good. You can see on the right here, did another poll on my server about how people felt about the event. 17 people felt like it was great. 78 people felt like it was good. 31 felt like it was okay. 65 were meh. 5 were good except for scoring issues, or 45 rather, were good except for scoring issues. I fall into that category, except I would have said it was great, except for the scoring issues and the connection issues, which 69 people voted for that, good except for the connection issues. So that's gonna kind of bring me to the bad category, and I'm gonna put the connection issues from boss battle in the bad. That was bad. I felt like that was bad this week. There wasn't the stability to always have the runs you needed, especially when you're trying to do harder levels. It made it more difficult. So I'll put that in the bad category. Not ugly, but bad. There was also, I'm going to go with the trivia as a bad and ugly. The part that I think fits into the bad for most people is going to be the energy farming was completely taken down to 5 per day, 3 free and 2 you can purchase, greatly limiting the coins. To me, I get the economy and things like that, and it was too good, so I get that. So For overall people, I'll put it into bad. The solution to this, to me, would have been to roll out trivia much slower and see how it went. For example, if they started giving us less and then slowly added more, no one would have a problem with it. Everyone would think it was great. But because it was so good, and then they seemingly, to me, in my opinion, overcorrected so hard, it feels really rough. And I'm just talking at this point about the energy farming going away, which will lead me into the ugly portions. The ugly portion is that they raised the cost of all the items too. So if they had just lowered the energy farming, okay, we're correcting it, you know, I get that, but they also raised the cost, and not just a little bit, they raised it hugely. So because of that, I will lump that into the ugly part. Overall, trivia being ugly because of both things, but in particular, how much they raised the cost of everything. It wasn't just a couple times the price, it was many times over the price, along with nerfing of the energy. So I feel like that this week definitely falls into the ugly category. Also falling into the ugly category is the Dominic plate. First week it was up for $200. This week it was up for $100. I feel like that both, to me, again, this is just my opinion, how this month was laid out, with that plate in particular being needed for Dominic's best moveset, is completely ugly to me. At $200, it's ugly. At $100, it's ugly. At $20, it would be ugly to me. The only way I would be okay with it, and actually would probably have thought it was really cool, is if the plate was in the final milestone. So if you knew you were getting the plate for free, and it was in the final milestone, Dominic is very good with that plate. And then, yeah, as in most cases, you need trainers to maximize someone's potential. I wouldn't have an issue with those trainers being in the events throughout the weekend and stuff. In fact, that part could be actually kind of fun. If one moveset was more than good enough and the trainers were the other moveset, or in this case, if we had the skill plate, which would make Dominic good in the solo milestones, and that. So I'm gonna say it's ugly. At any price point, to me, in my opinion, selling the skill plate fits into the ugly category. And the chase overall, well, that is being sold to me this month, also fits into the ugly category. 3 weeks in, I'm still not changing my mind on that. The concept, I think, actually could fit into the good category if done properly, but this is just monetized horribly, so it falls into nothing but the ugly for me. Which brings me to the last ugly from this week. And this has been my issue, overarching issue for the past few months in the game. And that's the scoring issue for the event. It took what to me would have been a great event because the milestones were laid out well. Faction participation, playing with your teammates is great. Faction Boss is my favorite game mode. They did a bunch of new stuff with it, continuing to show just how versatile that can be. So it turned what was a great event to me into a really not good feeling. So I was able to do 411, so I was able to max, even though I ran into the scoring issue myself. Finishing 2 11s and 2 10s, max the solo event, just not for everybody. It did for a lot of people. Other people, like myself, it left, I think, like 500,000-ish points behind. Support was not helpful in my case, or in multiple of my friends' cases. In particular, I had one friend that was able to do 2 11s, 2 10s, and did not max the event, were the 500,000 plus short, and because of that, did not get a Steph plate, which would have been their first one, and did not get those milestones, and I believe they may not have even recruited Snoop because of that. Their faction isn't a top faction, so they didn't have enough people, so they could clear it on 11 with the other two classes. In particular, if you had KO and Lashley, chaotic and aggressive, those two were very useful in clearing it, or Zombie Edge. And Macho King Those all fall into those two categories. The other ones were a bit more difficult. So to me, I'm going to say overall that falls into ugly, and a lot of people may not know that it didn't get the proper scoring because they weren't maxing it. So I don't know how far reaching that is. I do know it happened to multiple people in my faction, multiple people I spoke to, helping to happen to me personally, and I'm not the only content creator that had an issue with that. And it happened to a lot of top end players. In the sense of milestones for me, I didn't miss out on any milestones, so that part's not frustrating. However, if you wanted to chase the solo leaderboards, which I did, you had no chance once you didn't get those points. So that made it so I had zero chance of getting the Snoop gear. So again, what should have been a great weekend, a great event, was marred, in my opinion, by the ugliness of scoring issues. If you're going to have an event, the scoring needs to be the same for everyone. Just let that sink in. If you're going to have an event, the scoring needs to be the same for everyone. Just like the shards should be the same for everyone. Okay? That's just my opinion on that. So that completely falls into the ugly part. The bad part was the connection issues, which wouldn't be nearly so bad if it wasn't for the scoring. I would have given it a good, even with the connection issues, but that would still obviously fall into the bad category. That's something with the game engine handling the traffic, whatever. I don't know exactly what it is at all that they need to work on and fix the stability of the game. That's nothing new there. But you can't let the integrity of events be affected, especially when it keeps people from getting milestones for very useful plates and game-changing things for their account. So overall, this week was kind of a mixed bag. We had the good, which I felt like the zombie prize wall, there was stuff for everyone in there. And then the fact that Snoop was very recruitable in the event, the way the structure was laid out, I thought was really great. The fact that you could potentially grind boss battle and get some rankings from it. So I want to reiterate, I really like the way you laid the event out, Scopely. I thought that's a A+ home run, whatever you want to call it. But please fix to what to me was the ugliness of the scoring issues. If you can work on the stability, everyone knows that's one of the things that is one of the big things for me, whether it's Grand Tournament or whatever. I've been on the wrong end of stability issues plenty myself. That's an enjoyment thing, so getting that fixed would be great. And I guess the other thing to recap is the trivia overall I feel like is way too much of an overcorrection. Hopefully it'll correct back some next month. So there's that, guys. Again, I just want to reiterate, all of this is my opinion. None of it is fact. It's just how I feel about what happened this week in the game. Really curious to hear what you guys think. Let me know what you think in the comments, as I really like to hear that. And remember to like, subscribe, and share, as that helps me out. Also, let me know what you think of this this new video. I may be doing one of these a week now. I feel like there's plenty to talk about on a weekly basis to cover in a video like this. And yeah, so thanks for watching, guys, and good luck out there.